Yo, I'm gonna give a big what's up to all my buddies and friends in the cyber community on the YouTube. You may have noticed if you've been watching a lot of my videos over the past that there has been a bit of an absence of stuff. Kind of took a bit of a break without meaning to. It's been busy, you know. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Opening boxes series, I had to take a bit of a break from that one when Infinite Forbidden came out because I got sent on a work trip. Didn't end up getting my box until like a couple weeks after the set came out. I think I talk a bit more about it in the video. I still have to post it, but it's kind of something else about it is like not too long after I did that video, recorded it, I got sent out to, I didn't get sent out somewhere, but I had to go on a trip to Edmonton for a concert. Went and seen that Metallica and Pantera concert. That was pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie. But yeah, it's another amount of time that I'm kind of away from the workspace and everything like that. So you kind of, as soon as you get back from that, I got sent for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks somewhere else, to Vancouver Island there for work. So that's kind of just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I've had a really busy summer. Just with my personal life outside of work. Last few weeks, I've had a bit of a romantic thing going on, but that kind of fell off. She lives in a different city than I do, and we decided it's kind of weird doing a long distance thing. It's not really anything on her, it's just the way it is, right? If you're wondering what I'm doing while I'm recording this video is I'm sorting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because I've come to realize I've got a hell of a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and if I want to do something else with my life, or if I want to move soon like I'm planning to, kind of gotta start downsizing and minimizing all my stuff. So we will see how that goes. I've been trying to do that for a while, but that I'm starting to get a little bit more serious about it. I've got like every Yu-Gi-Oh card I own set out on my dresser in my room, and every day I'm kind of doing a little bit more progress. But at the same time, it kind of points towards pretty poor balance in life, you know? Like, I've gone pretty crazy in trading cards the last couple years, and I think I should probably tone down on it a bit. Not that I'm going to stop doing YouTube videos about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm gonna stop doing stuff that's Yu-Gi-Oh that isn't really related to a YouTube video, if that makes sense. Like if I'm buying a box, it's probably gonna get opened on camera. Like I went out to the store today, went and picked up some of the new tins right here. Pretty cool. I'm actually pretty stoked to open that. I'm gonna record that video after I finish this one and upload it, because I think it'd be kind of gauche to just immediately drop another video about stuff but skip a lot of things that I missed. So I'm also gonna take a good like 10 minutes or so to talk about a few other things. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh related, may not be. That's just kind of the way it goes. first thing I'm gonna talk about is like if you're just generally in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, or if you've played a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, you kind of understand how just you have a fuck ton of stuff, and that fuck ton of stuff over time, it's like if you ever watch Fight Club, the things you own start owning you. And I'm kind of approaching that sort of point in life where the things I own are starting to own me, and I don't really like that. I said before earlier, and I will say it again, it is like a balance thing. Part of why I play Yu Gi Oh! Is because I'm Greek and it's a fun strategy game. I should actually really rephrase that. I play Yu-Gi-Oh because I'm Greek. That's a really crummy way to say it, but in terms of ancient Greek philosophy of what a man actually is you kind of got to be just as much physically capable as you are intellectually capable. So I try to balance being physically active with like strategy games and trading card games and whatnot. I find it sort of keeps you mentally on your toes and aware when you're doing other things, but also gives you more discipline than your average competitor or person would have. It's like you can kind of break things down a little bit easier than some people can, but I guess that type of thinking doesn't really translate the best to everyone. I guess more so what my point is, though, is something like I'm doing right now, sorting cards. It used to not be that much of a necessity. It was something like therapeutic. Like, say I'm having a really crummy day and I just want something to, like, kind of get my mind off of it. I just, like, go to sorting cards or something, or say I'm really sore and I can't really go out and do much, like I'm just sort cards. But now it has kind of come to a point where I kind of have to do something about it, you know? And I don't really like that. I've been feeling myself getting a little bit more out of shape. It's not very healthy. So I'd say the number one way to stop that is just fucking minimize on a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. And like I do it kind of extremely. Like I buy decks and cards for decks that I'm probably never even gonna play. Like I have a full Fiendsmith deck, I have a full Snake Eyes deck, I have a full Labyrinth deck. They've got a whole bunch of decks. Got Chimera, Voiceless, and like literally the only thing I play is Branded. So it's like it kind of comes a point where what is the point if it's exactly what I'm gonna keep buying is the same cards over and over again. Just might as well buy the singles, right? It's not fun just buying singles. It's like that's why we do the channel, though. Something else that hasn't really come up too much as of late that I'm sure a lot of people are actually wondering about, and I'm going to get into it, and I appreciate the waiting, is my own personal reaction to the latest ban list. And in case anyone's watching that doesn't know, and you've been kind of watching more personally, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game has a ban list that happens like 3-4 times a year, or like whenever the game starts getting pretty hectic. People are doing a bunch of crazy shit. Because if you ever look up a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video, it's got a lot of people doing just crazy shit. But the most recent ban list, they banned one card or two cards that I thought were going to get banned, they hit another two cards or banned another two cards that I wasn't really expecting but can kind of understand. Well, one of them I understand, the other one's like, fuck you. And they made some other creative decisions. If you've ever seen one of my Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles, or if you know me, you know that they put Branded Fusion to 1. That's where I'm going to start my little banlist discussion off. I'm going to say, like, it's not. Like, when everyone says it doesn't make a difference, that's cope. It does make a huge difference not having 2 more Branded Fusions, even another Branded Fusion. And I'll give you a little bit of yarn for why I think it's cope. Because every time I've played Branded Chimera, guess what card I top decked that I wished was a different card? Chimera Fusion. Guess what card I would have wished I would have top decked? Branded Fusion. So that's part of it, is like the top deck potential is really altered with it being at 1. Obviously, as anyone that's ever played Master Duel, including myself, will tell you, there are still lines to get into it, and there is the chance to just draw the motherfucker. But you really don't want to have to go into some of those lines sometimes. I will say, like, the combo line to get into it from the graveyard is a very interesting one, and it does set you up for most of what you need when you hit Branded Fusion. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, turn 3 or turn 4 when you need to get a card to clear the board and fucking secure you the W. And your 1 Branded Fusion kind of set up your first turn's board, or you helped you break the first board. Now you're kind of dealing with the clapback. That is what got hit. Yes, you can play Kit. Yes, you can play Fusion Dupe. Yes, you can play all that shit. But with playing all of those other cards, you have to keep in mind that adjusts the ratios in which you'll get them, and they will be useful. Or they will be optimal in the environment they're being used. So, like, if you get Kit, fucking Cartesia, goddamn fucking Aluber, Branded Retribution, and fucking... what's another one? Fucking... we'll say Branded Regained. That's a very bad hand, in my own opinion. Because you do have a lot of what you need, but it's way weaker than what it could have been. And that seems like a very niche example, but if you've ever played the deck, you will understand that those types of things happen. And that is also kind of just the game. But they kind of, like, did it in a weird way, in that if they really wanted to stop what Branded's doing to people, that they know we're doing to people, they would have hit that Albion the Sanctifier Dragon that special summons the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare to the opponent's side of the field, so that the opponent can't special summon anything other than Gimmick Puppet monsters. I think that would have been the hit that they would have made if they wanted to stop Branded itself as a deck. I think what they actually were trying to do was stop hybrid builds. So it's like, every time you see a hybrid build, like Branded Chimera or Branded Voiceless, what it entails is 3 copies of Branded Fusion, a fucking Albaz, and very typically a Jowgin or a fucking Ido or something you can use to lock your opponent. with a Sanctifier or a Mirror Jade and a couple other cards in the extra deck. It's typically what you're gonna find. So the fact that they put Branded Fusion from 3 to 1 incredibly cuts down on that same thing I was saying, the top deck potential of decks that aren't really supposed to be running that card. It fucked them. Like, now, what are you going to run? One copy of Albaz, one copy of Branded Fusion, and one copy of the card you're going to lock with? Like, that's, like, very improper deck building. You have just as much of odds of getting the Garnet as you do the one you wanted. So that, using it as an engine alone is what's been hit. So that's kind of my two-sided opinion of Branded Fusion being put to 1, is that it doesn't hurt a pure build from like very much, for the sake of you can still access it and you can still get it. You have other play lines. Like, remember when your Branded Fusion got ashed? You had play lines then. It's basically the same thing now. That's like you're playing Branded without playing Branded Fusion. I'd like to see how some of those profiles come up, or what happens in the future. Myself, I'm going to be cooking up a few things. I'll get into that a little bit later on, but they finally banned a card that, since I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again, I've been saying they should ban or do something about. It's Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. Now, if you don't know about this card, it basically, any deck that can spam out a whole bunch of little monsters. Like, if you play Magic, you'd be very familiar with the concept of spamming 1/1s. If a deck can spam a lot of really small monsters, it's probably going to play this card Appaloosa, because it can use all those little monsters to make Appaloosa, and for each monster you use to make her, she can negate a monster effect next turn. That sounds very convoluted, because it is. It's a really dumb card. And very often, people will play that card and couple it with a different card that had gotten banned called Baron de Fleur, because the deck they're making doesn't really have a point other than to make those two cards. So I've been calling for a very long time for Baron to get banned, and when it got banned, I was over the moon. The next card I've been calling to get banned for a long time was Appaloosa. Thank fuck. I think that card's annoying as shit. Like, when someone drops Appaloosa on the board, it goes from being, how do I break their board, to how do I play the game with Appaloosa on board. It's like opposite of Naturia Beast, which, if there is a Beast Warrior deck that comes out, I bet you Naturia Beast is going to get banned, because that card is just too fucking cheeks. I've been pretty on it with some predictions, you know, like, another card that got banned, very funnily enough, well, I was saying Albion didn't get banned, thank God, Calamity got banned. Now, if you're watching and you don't know what Calamity is, or what I'm referring to an anime retrain boss monster known as Hot Red Dragon King Calamity or something. Now, pretty much what this thing does is, the turn that you special summon it, your opponent can't fucking activate monster effects or something. It locks him out of some game mechanic. I don't have the card in front of me, I haven't read it in a while. But people were using that card in not the deck it came out with, being the Red Dragon Archfiend deck. They were using it in this Centurion deck. because they have a couple cards that let you make it on your opponent's turn. So you make it as soon as their turn starts, they basically can't play the game. It's cheeks, it sucks, right? So they ban that card. And it doesn't happen to me very often, but when it does, I think, fuck, this sucks. So good thing that's gone. Beatrice getting banned. That's one that a lot of people saw coming. And that's the one when I was saying I do understand it. Because, like, I myself, in playtesting and in experience, haven't really encountered what that card does, or it hasn't really messed with me too much. But I can definitely see how it can screw with a lot of people. The card that I am saying what the fuck on it getting banned is Lacrimosa, because it doesn't really, in my, like, a lot of people are saying it's cracked, it does so much, like the deck's not the same without it. Like, I definitely don't think the deck is the same without it, but not for the same reasons. I think Lacrimosa was a very good card. I don't think he was busted worthy of being banned, because we have another deck that fucking... Well, I seen Gimmick Puppet burn a buddy of mine until he had 900 life points, and then that's when he started his turn. And it took like 10-20 minutes to do so, too. So it's like, you got one deck where the intention is to burn someone their entire life points before the game even starts. Or Yubel, that's another one. Like, how are you going to ban Fiendsmith Lacrimosa, but you're going to make Yubel one of the strongest decks in the fucking game? Like, they both do the same thing. They do the same thing. Like, it's why Fiendsmith Yubel is, like, one of the more cracked ones, because you basically still do the same fucking thing, except you don't get a fucking special summon from your graveyard. Basically why you just play Monster Reborn, man. Like, everybody's playing Calamity. Like, there's ways around it. That's why that hit made no fucking sense at all to me. But I digress. I just don't like it because I was just starting to cook with that deck. Like I was saying, I was busy during the summer. Haven't had a chance to cook a whole lot or play a whole lot. I'm kind of playing a similar deck to the one I was playing in the last profile I did. Except I added Light and Darkness Dragonlord, because he's pretty freaking good. So I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play test or get good results or something to write back about. Which, as I was starting to say earlier, is part of why I don't have a deck profile video up lately. I'm sure people are going to want to see what I cook up with the ban list, how I deal with it. I'm going to have a few different ways to deal with it, or a couple different strategies I'm going to try and cook up. One thing I'm going to try and do, see how well it works, is Thunder Dragons, because guess what happened with them? They got Colossus got put to 2. So let's see how Colossus or branded Thunder Dragons works. That's going to be a neat one. Been playing with it a bit on Master Duel. It's been working all right. It'll probably be a lot stronger IRL. But something I alluded to earlier was trying to be a bit more physically active or focus more on some of the other aspects of my life. I'm trying to balance it out a bit. Not just be all about Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you've ever looked down at a lot of my videos and whatnot, see, I got a very wide variety of things I do, like video games, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Unboxing. It's kind of just it, but I want to do more, you know? Just got a lot of housework I gotta do in the next little bit, so it's gonna be a little bit here and there and wishy-washy, but I'm gonna keep trying my best. Just like I encourage everyone else to keep trying their best. I'm gonna do the recording for the Dueling Mirrors 10, which is gonna be pretty hype. Catch me on that one next. After that one, I'm going to try to finally upload the opening 100 packs of Infinite Forbidden. And after that, I'm gonna start working on a deck list and profile. So, let's just see how all that goes. I figure if people have been waiting on seeing something, might not want you waiting too long, or at least give you an explanation as to why. Just been busy, you know, it's just the way life goes. I have different priorities. But I also know that the channel is starting to get up there. Like, I was getting more subscribers and views and whatnot, so we'll just... I know how it works. If you don't keep doing stuff, you will atrophy. It's like a muscle, you know? So, I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.